What's going on, traders? We're going to try to make this quick. I hope you guys are enjoying your fourth. But before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So first things first, heading into tomorrow, last trading day of the week, 8:30 Eastern, we have hourly earnings, and then we have non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate. So tomorrow is going to be a very volatile day, I would assume, based off how good this news is or how bad this news is, right? So looking at the NASDAQ for our time frame. My price target for the Nasdaq is 20,500. Highest I think we can go as far as short term is 20,800. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see this move all happen at once heading into tomorrow. The thumbnail is not a clickbait. I rarely clickbait. I usually talk about what's in my thumbnails. I think we're looking at a melt up process. If it's not happening already, I think we're going to melt up. The market is just going to continue to go up, 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 something like the dot-com bubble, and then whatever happens, happens afterwards. Okay. So I think we're going to continue to go higher. 20,500 is on the table here, and then 20,700, 20,800 is what I'm looking at as far as targets on the NASDAQ. As you guys can see, we broke out as a symmetrical triangle, and right now we are holding above 20,380. As long as we stay above here, I imagine we will at least until the news comes in tomorrow. But as long as we stay here, then I think we could just potentially go higher. Another thing is that if we do just so happen to break lower for whatever reason, whatever the case may be, maybe we get bad news heading into tomorrow. We're pretty illiquid here, so I imagine we're going to head back down to about 20,280. So it's not that crazy of a move. Let's actually mark it out so you guys can like get an idea on how it looks. But right here, you're starting right here. So if anything, I think if we do drop, it will be just a simple retest where we retest market, some Fed member, something convinces the market that everybody's overreacting, and then we potentially head higher, or we just simply start to break down. We retest, break down, retest, break down, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at heading into tomorrow as far as NQ. We look at the ES. ES pretty much looking at the same thing. We broke out of this 4 hour. Well, this is actually the daily supply and demand zone. We broke out of here right here. We broke above here. We broke above this wick here. And right now, this looks like a simple retest. My target right now for the ES is 5680. 5680 is my target for the ES. I don't know if we're going to see it all happen tomorrow, but I wouldn't be surprised it does happen if we get at least a big move. So first things first, I would say 5630 will be, well, 5600. Obviously, we got to get past that psych level. 5630 after that, 5650. Highest I'm looking at is 5680. I think it can happen, guys. Um, that's really all I have for the ES. I mean, if we start breaking down, there's so much turbulence that that news tomorrow will have to be pretty bad for us to really break down. But given with the good news that Powell has been given and everything else, I just don't see it. One thing I will say that I think could potentially really drop the market is just banks. That's it. I don't think anything Fed Powell could really say right now at this point is going to drop the market. I think banks, if anything, will be the cause of a market correction or a drop. But we'll talk about that somewhere in the future. I want to make this video quick. Let's look at the triple Qs. Triple Qs, same thing we're looking at here at this point, guys. 500 is on the table. I mean, is that really, does that really sound crazy at this point? Come on. I mean, 500, easy as that. Right here. Okay, right here we have us a ascending triangle, and we broke out really early. That's my only issue with this. We broke out really early. We've been breaking out like really early on a lot of patterns, which is something I'm not really used to seeing. So I can't really gauge on what that means. But I would still, at the end of the day, I would still be cautious. Like, I wouldn't jump too much into like heavy contracts on any play or anything like that. So I would just still be cautious. We look at the triple Qs for our time frame. We do have an inverted hammer pattern. That is a bullish pattern, although I prefer it coming off a downtrend. But regardless, if it looks like the pattern, assume that it is until proven otherwise. Again, historically, 4th of July week is extremely bullish, and then the week after is extremely bullish as well. Feel free to check your history or just go back in time on your charts to check that out. But again, 500 is on the table. I think we're going to see it. Wouldn't be surprised we start seeing it at least early. I mean, not early tomorrow, but sometime tomorrow, maybe next week tops. If we can get past 500, that would be insane. But we're just gonna be humble. Okay, 500. That's really what I have for the triple Qs. Your key level to the downside is 486. After 486, then you're pretty much back in this range. And then after that, I imagine you're just going to head as low as about 480 once again, and maybe start playing games in here until we get further news, or we just break down completely. Whatever the case may be, just be at the end of the day, just be careful. Okay. Spy. Spy 555 target. I mentioned this before. I didn't mention it in the last video or anything like that, but I did mention it like a while back that I think Spy can go to 555, or is on the table at least if we get above 550. We zoom out, and I told you guys this in the last video or the last few videos actually that SPY still has a lot of space within this range. You guys see here, I didn't make this up. We've been trading in this channel for a very long time. I mean, this is the daily time frame, so you can imagine just how long. But we rejected here, we bounced here, we rejected here, bounced here, bounced here. We rejected here multiple times. And right now it looks like we're heading back to the top of this trend, right where these guys are. Okay. So something to pay attention to here. The highest we're looking at, if we do just so happen to hit the top of this trend, is about 555, 550, yeah, 560. Okay, 560 is on the table for the SPY, and I think we could start seeing that as early as tomorrow, heading into next week. After we hit 560, I think we're pretty much going to be done. I think that would be somewhat of a top, at least short term, and then we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, I think the market is just going to go ballistic. It's crazy. Okay, it's absolutely crazy. Um, let's get into some stocks real quick. Apple 230 easy. Apple still has that price target upgrade, so I mean, it shouldn't be surprising that I say 230 or anything. It shouldn't really surprise anybody. It has an upgrade of 230. That's pretty much, I mean, 250. It's that easy, guys. Right now, we're above the key level of 220. I told you guys if it breaks above 220, pack your bags. Once again, we're heading back to the moon. Get you some Cheetos, some spicy Doritos, get you some Kool Aid, get you just leave the kids, leave the wife, leave the husband, whoever you're with, leave them. Take the dog. We're going to the moon. 220. We're above 220. Apple's going to 230. Pretty easy, simple as that. Got nothing else for Apple. If it breaks below 220, if it breaks and holds below 220, I would say you're looking at 218. After 218, we can start heading towards 215, and then after 215, we'll talk about further downside from there. But as far as like complete downside, 206 is your main key area here. And the reason why we say 206 because after 206, if you look down here in this area, you're very illiquid, very illiquid. So Apple breaks below 206, you're dropping pretty fast, pretty fast. I don't know what will cause that. We would just need some terrible, terrible news. Amazon, Amazon's Amazon's been playing games, but at the end of the day, it still looks fine. My price target on Amazon is still 205, 210. When are their earnings actually? Let's look at their earnings real quick, see if it's pretty close. Yeah, we got plenty of time. So again, I think big tech earnings. I said this multiple times in multiple videos. Big tech earnings is just like big tech is just going to run into their earnings. That's what I genuinely believe. I think the market is just using all this Fed talk and all this other crap as an excuse to keep running. But at the end of the day, I told you guys, earnings run the market. Don't care what anybody else says. Big tech earnings run the market. Okay. If big tech starts failing, the market is going to drop. Simple as that. Okay. Everything else is just an excuse. As long as Apple, Amazon, all Nvidia are destroying their earnings, fine. Okay. The market is going to be fine. Tesla. Tesla 260. I said this in the Discord. I think Tesla is going to hit 260, and then after 260, that's when we start seeing some real turbulence. You guys, I mean, you can see it all like right here is probably where our first stop is going to be before we start like really start slowly climbing to the top. Right now, it's just going parabolic to the top because it's nothing really stopping us from this point all the way up here. But at 260, I think that's when we're going to start seeing some real turbulence, some real downfall. So right now, I believe Tesla is like 248 after hours, maybe 249, probably above 250 by open, whatever the case may be, if the news comes in good. But yeah, Tesla looks great. Congratulations to the Discord members who took Tesla. We absolutely killed that play. The 220 calls, the 202.5 calls. Really wish I held those, but we got out at around 205 and still made like really good profit on that. But man, I keep thinking if we still would have held those. Next stock, Meta. Meta, I think, is going to about 225. That's my price target for Meta. As you guys can see, we have broken this trend. And right here, we're heading towards the supply demand zone around 520, 525 tops is what I'm looking at. Actually, we can say 530. I don't think 530 is too much to ask for, given how much we're talking with as far as the Qs hitting 500 and the SPY hitting 560. So yeah, Meta looks really, really good. Contracts, really good contracts is about 250. I'm not two. What am I getting two from? 515. So check those contracts out if we don't go parabolic. IWM, Russell. Russell looks good here. It's like this right here, this bull flag right here, and then we got like a 4 hour bear flag in the middle of it. So really weird situation the Russell is in. I would say go by what the daily says because the daily trumps the 4 hour time frame. If this breaks out, Russell's going to go absolutely insane. Now I did have an inverse head and shoulders pattern marked out here. You guys can still somewhat see it. You got your shoulder here, you got your head here, and then this will be the other shoulder here. That's pretty much forming within this bull flag. This breaks out, Russell's going to 230 easy. My first target right now is 210. I think Russell could retest at least 198 one more time. I think that would be a beautiful buying opportunity. Just really pay attention to Russell. If anything, if the market drops, I think we'll see a sector rotation, if anything. But right now, Russell looks really good. Can't really say much about that. And Bitcoin. Last but not least, Bitcoin. Bitcoin. So I told you guys 57K was one of my first targets. It did take its time getting there. If we look at the weekly time frame, there is a somewhat double top here, but we also have a bull flag here. This is off a little bit. Yeah, we have a bull flag here. I think if anything, Bitcoin's dropping to prepare for a melt up, like the market melt up. That's what I think. So what I told the Discord is that this will be a good time to start dollar cost averaging. And I told you guys before that 52K was on the table as far as Bitcoin. I still stand by that. So I'm not saying go crazy heavy or anything like that. Do what you want with this information. Me personally, I'm going to start dollar cost averaging on my way down. I wouldn't be surprised we don't see 52K and maybe we just stop at 54K. So we're looking at a move like this. Let's go to a smaller time frame. And then after this, I will be done and let you guys go. But right here, I mean, you guys see, we already bounced off the supply and demand zone right here in this area. We're currently bouncing off of it. Granted, the daily candle isn't done yet, but as you guys can see here, we pretty much are just bouncing off of it. So if we do just decide to go lower for whatever reason, maybe news could affect this tomorrow, we can head to 54K, which is right where the bottom of this bull flag is, and bounce up from there. That would be awesome. And just so you guys know, I'm not making it up because I like to show you guys that I don't make these things up. I don't force anything. You bounced here off this wick here. You bounced off this wick here, and then you bounced off this area, and now you're currently somewhat bouncing off the supply and demand zone and this yeah, supply and demand zone, but you haven't hit this trend yet. So if we do head down further down, 54K is what I'm looking at. Lowest we could be looking at is 52K. Maybe quickly we wake up, and 52K is right at the bottom of the supply and demand zone, right where you're right where these guys are, right here in this area. So that's all I have for this video. Again, I think we're just going to continue to head higher. Um, I lied, but I lied as far as the last thing, SPY. SPY and triple Q. So there's a lot of puts coming in, like a lot of puts coming in. And I know you're like, oh, you just told us a meltdown was happening. The reason why I'm saying that is because if we're looking at options flow, and let's say for example we're looking at the SPY, and I've been saying this in the Discord too. So I don't want to, I want to stay on what I'm stand on what I'm saying here. There's a lot of puts coming in. I mean, look at all these puts, guys. All nothing but puts are flying in for the SPY. But if we look back in time, and even here, like a lot of puts, we look at July 2nd. Okay, it's a mixture of things, right? But what I want to tell you guys is that the reason why I think we're going to continue to melt up is because whoever's doing these puts, whatever whales institution are doing these puts, this has been happening since Monday. And when I say since Monday, I'm saying they'll put in puts, like all these puts will come in for Monday, and then the expiration will be Tuesday. But the market kept going up on Tuesday, so then more puts will come in on Tuesday for Wednesday, but then the market will go up, continue to go up on Wednesday. And hopefully you guys are understanding what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that at some point, if we keep going up like this, all of this, because these guys are getting, they're getting crushed right now. If this keeps happening, bears are going to give up. Like they're gonna give up, and then the Bulls are gonna take full control, and we're just going to like go ballistic, if not already. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Monday had this has been happening, they failed. Tuesday this has been happening, failed. Wednesday happening, failed. If the news comes in tomorrow good and the market like really reacts really good, guys, Bears are gonna give up. They're going to give up. Now, granted, we may see some profit taking at close tomorrow. That's about it. All right. So regardless of the matter, I never take options chain lightly. I'm always cautious. If the market's doing one thing and options chain is showing a different thing, I still remain cautious. Do what you want with this information. That's all I have, guys. Hopefully, you guys got something out of this video. Discord link is in the description below. I will be releasing our website on my channel, so be on the lookout for that. I'm really happy as how far we've gotten so far. I really appreciate the support. Hopefully, you enjoy your 4th of July. And until the next video, traders, have a good one.